Hello and welcome to our hangout, and today we are talking about the evolving health trends over the past few years as we celebrate SG60. Let's take a look at how different health trends were over the past 60 years and now. Today I've got three very special guests with me, and let's start with an introduction. So let's start with Kerstin.
Hi everyone, my name is Kerstin and I'm a national athlete doing the 100-meter hurdles for Singapore.
Hi guys, my name is Edmund. I'm an actor, a writer, and a senior citizen.
Hello, hi, good day everyone. My name is Fadzil. I am a doctor and I'm a Deputy Director at SingHealth Office of Regional Health, and I'm also a Senior Staff Physician in the Department of Sport and Exercise Medicine based in Changi General Hospital.
All right, so we've got a professional athlete, a very, very active senior who does not look his age, and a doctor, a professional as well. And I'm sure these three are going to provide their very unique perspective onto the topics we're going to talk about. So the first topic is food and nutrition, my absolute favorite. Let's start with Edmund Chen. So start with the one who looks very, very young. What is the secret to looking so young when it comes to your diet?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I applied filter before I came out. Or literally on my face. Okay, I started as an actor. So we eat whatever is available just to keep us, full.
What's convenient.
Yeah, at times we probably finish work at about 3 in the morning. So we just grab butter and things like that. During my time when I was younger, I remember we used to share 6 of us, 6 bowl of rice and just 1 fish. But that's because the resources are not so abundant and available. As we progress, now each of us can afford a fish. So as I got older, I realized that it's better to go on a lesser carb intake and a more protein intake.
So do you find yourself cooking at home more or eating out more?
I wanted to cook more for many reasons. I want to make a home feels like home, warm. But for the fact that my family members, they don't come back on time. So you have to reheat and you got to heat up the food again. And I don't think it's very healthy to do that. So we decided just to eat out. But we have the choice to choose. And I think it's very important to know what sort of food to eat is very important.
So what do you look out for if you're eating outside?
I sort of narrowed my diet to just fish, protein, and less carbs. No fried, less salt, less sugar. If I can, literally no salt, no sugar, I'm fine with it.
That sounds like advice that Dr. Fadzil would give us. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think what Edmund has done is pretty much what I would have expected any Singaporean would do. Right? I mean, it's not easy, especially given the pace of life in Singapore. A lot of us are working, the kids go to school. Sometimes it's just not possible to prepare food at home. And therefore, people tend to eat out. And I think it's important for us to exercise that healthy option and to choose your food wisely, especially when you are eating outside. So apart from, making sure that you get your share of carbohydrates, proteins, as well as your fiber based on the healthy plate, my healthy plate recommendations, also important for you to make sure you choose the right quality of food. So avoiding the fried items, avoiding those that has a higher content of salt, sodium, sugar, and of course, looking for healthier labels, right? Even when it comes to drinks, choose those with healthier Nutri-Gate drinks. Yeah.
There have been a lot of trends online about diets, keto diets, intermittent fasting. What are your thoughts on all these? That's what I want to know.
Okay, so there are many diets out there, but I think for anyone who is planning to make small little changes in their lifestyle, in this case their nutrition, important to just stick to a healthy diet that's being recommended by Health Promotion Board, which is basically making sure you have a balanced meal, 3 balanced meals. Each meal, if you were to divide it into a plate, half of which is going to be your fiber, there will be your vegetables, quarter your lean proteins, your lean meats, your eggs, your tofu, fish, and then of course the other quarter will be carbohydrates, focusing a little bit more on your whole grain kind of carbohydrates and not just, starch alone. So I think if you are able to actually have a healthy plate, have that for each of your 3 main meals, cutting down on the snacks, cutting down on the fried items, I think that will be more or less, healthy. You don't really need to go on a crash diet. You don't really need to go on a keto diet or intermittent fasting.
I think that would be the best diet for an average Singaporean to follow, of course. But as a professional athlete, Kerstin, do you do any diets? What kind of food do you eat? Do you keep to any plan?
So I definitely take on a lot more performance-focused diet because the kind of food I put in my body is the fuel I need for my training, for my competitions, as well as recovery is extremely important when I'm training every day. Sometimes I train twice a day even. So like for me, like Edmund avoids your like salt, sodium, sugar, carbs even. For me, sodium is still important for recovery because I lose so much electrolytes from sweating from my workout. So sodium is actually important. But of course, I don't take it in extreme amount. A certain amount is still needed. Sugar as well because I need that kind of energy for my training. Carbs also gives me that energy I need for my training as well. So I have to take on a lot more balanced diet. Even for fried food actually is quite a no-no for me because that oil makes me feel very sluggish for my training, and I don't want to feel sluggish entering the training. So the kind of food I eat is extremely important to how I feel the next day and especially on competition weeks. But then I think a lot of athletes actually have a lot of cheat meals. We call it cheat meals, a bit of indulgence. So we all think that, athlete has such an amazing healthy diet. But
After a win,
of course, 100%, 100% without fail. After every race, I'm going to go for like ice cream, chocolates. But even through the week, I still take chocolate every few days. For me, I think what's very important is to have a sustainable diet. So I think if I have some cravings for like chocolates, if I'm having it like 2 or 3 small squares, it's actually fine if I don't eat like the whole bar. So I think something that maybe Singaporeans can try is to have it in moderation. If they restrict themselves so much and suddenly a day comes and they cannot control anymore, they might overeat than to have had a couple of little blocks throughout like the week. So I think that's more sustainable.
Maybe I'll just chime in. I think what Kerstin has said is truly correct. You know, you it's fine for you to have like small little breaks, cheat days in between, because it's also good for your own mental health and well-being, right? You need to feel good about what you're eating. And what's very important is having that sustainable diet. At the same time, it's also important for you to practice mindful eating, not mindless eating, but mindful eating. So if you happen to have a cheat day, like for lunch later, I think it's important for you to maybe eat a little bit healthier for dinner or maybe for breakfast the next day. So I think it's all about having a balance and having things in moderation.
That's great. And I think they covered all the points that are really important. Have everything in moderation. Try to eat a little bit healthier. And of course, cater your diet to your lifestyle. As you've seen, Edmund and Kerstin have very different diets in some areas to cater to their lifestyle. And so find something that caters to your lifestyle, something that is sustainable, something that you know you can keep to in the long run, and not something that you will crash and burn out in just a couple of days. And that was a very good discussion. Let's move on to the next one, which is physical activity. And I know we're all very excited to hear about the professional athlete, but let's start with the one that I'm most curious about, Mr. Edmund Chen.
Me again?
Yes. Physical activity. How do you keep yourself looking so trim, so fit at this age?
Oh, okay. It goes back 50 years ago. Hey, no, just kidding. Okay, it's sort of like 3 stages in my life. I used to work out at the age. I want to have a sense of belonging. You know, you're in school, you wanted to be in a group, you sort of that. You join sports, you want the associations and stuff like that.
It also started out as a hobby,
It's more like
a way to socialize.
Try to socialize, try to associate with schoolmates. So I played football, basketball, water polo, you know, all sort of gym stuff like that, just to be with the boys. It's more for you're being recognized, you know, your friends. And then later on, when I got into being an actor, you realize that at times that they seems to cast me to play different action heroes role and things like that. So I need tools. I need tools like the muscles. It's more like I try to build aesthetic pleasing muscles for aesthetic purpose. So it could be soft, but it look good. So I train on the shoulder, the chest, and stuff like that. You know, places that you'll be exposed. You value add your role, your character. So as I age, when I hit 50, I feel that things changes. There are new sensation, something not familiar. I'm trying to deal with it and I understand it and I get to respect aging. So now I try to train more the lower body, this is more like for public. This is more like for private use. This is very much like for you know, stability, agility.
Yes.
So it end up going to my core and my legs. Before, there's absolutely no leg days. Where there's a leg? I mean, she runs, but I don't. You know, it's just You just put on long pants and you just show your biceps. So that's about it, I say. So now I do a lot of squatting, a lot of my legs, and walking. In fact, exercise gave me another advantage, which mentally it gave me some me time. So I end up doing walking or exercise because it's just do your count 1, 2, 3, and then you totally empty your mind, and then physically and mentally it helps me a lot.
So I guess, Edmund, the difference for you is the shift from years ago. It was more for aesthetic purposes. You wanted to look good in front of a camera, which makes sense because it's your work, it's
Different
your job.
needs.
Yeah, but now as you are aging a little bit, the shift has gone more towards functionality, practicality. You want to be able to be stable when you walk, which is very important for people who are aging, I've realized. And you're working your core, which is very important as well. And that's the difference for you, the shift for you. And now moving on, let's talk to the professional athlete about your exercise routines and how are they different from Edmund's?
For me, it's extremely performance focused. Whatever I do has to translate into the kind of results I have in my competition. So I do the 100-meter hurdles, which means that I need a lot of power, speed on my lower body. Of course, upper body is important as well for stability, your core, arm movements as well, but the legs is extremely important. So I do the short distance. The training varies from longer distance as well. So my training includes sprinting, gym sessions, jumping as well because I jump over the hurdles.
Right.
And I do have to train every day. My only rest days is Sunday. So Sunday is extremely important for me. No other exercises, I just rest. When I'm already training every day, it's already so tiring. But this is what is needed as a high-performance athlete. In fact, sometimes training once a day is not even enough. Sometimes we need to train twice a day. And I need to balance that with my full-time job. So it does get tiring, but then I do this because I have a goal to reach. I want to do well. I want to run well for Singapore. I want to have that kind of personal accomplishment when I improve on my times, when I break records. So my kind of training is different, but what I do is I try to also encourage people to at least work out a bit. They don't have to train as much as I work out.
Yeah.
I train like 6 to 9 times a week. They don't have to do that. But even just having exercises like 2 to 3 times a week as a normal person, just want to keep fit, I think it's very important to keep your heart active, keep your heart pumping well, and as you age as well, it's going to be very helpful for their own health. I think not just even exercises, there's this thing that I think is very important, which is called NEAT. And it's a acronym for non-exercise. I don't remember. Wait, let me find.
It's okay.
It's a very long word. Okay, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Correct? I keep looking to for
that's
validation. Right. So what this means is actually the kind of energy output that is not from your exercise or workout. It's from energy such as you're walking to your bus, walking to your office, cleaning the house, packing a room. All these are actually under the term needs. So these are actually energy expended, which also helps with your day-to-day activities when you're not working out as frequent as me. So what normal Singaporeans can do is actually maybe taking a longer walk towards your office or taking the stairs instead of taking a lift all the time. So all these little stuff do adds up, and it does help in the day-to-day health and the better life for the general public.
That sounds fantastic. But Kerstin, you know I'm also very good at jumping.
Jumping over.
To conclusions. You can ask my partner. Okay. But thank you very much. I'm so sorry. I'm very, very bad with jokes. Dr. Fadzil, please save me from this embarrassment. Let's talk about your thoughts on physical activity.
So I think we have seen how exercise has benefited a lot of people and how it's being customized from one individual to another depending on the lifestyle that they do, right? You know, there used to be a traditional belief that people who need to exercise are only for those people who are fit, right? If you are not fit, you shouldn't be exercising because the risks are much higher. But I think over the years, we have seen that actually exercise plays a very important role, not only in the prevention of chronic medical problems. So not only for the able-bodied, fit people who want to keep themselves fit and free of medical issues, but it's also important even if one has been diagnosed with any form of chronic medical problems. Exercise does help in terms of managing the medical issues that they're having, and it prevents the onset of complications that may arise as a result of the chronicity of their medical problems. So I think this is something that has changed over the years, and therefore the reason why now you're seeing, even in Singapore locally, we have the Healthier.SG initiative, which was launched last year, right? And there's a lot of drive in getting people to move as much as possible. There are a lot of public health campaigns getting people to stay active. And it's not just about, like what Kerstin has said, right? It's not just about exercising. It's about moving. And I think we need to actually dissociate our thoughts from exercise to physical activity. Because if you think about exercise, what comes to mind will be a very unpleasant image of you having to run in the sun, having to sweat, having to wear your sports attire and going to the gym and spending hours carrying weights. But if you think of it as a physical activity, something that you can incorporate in your daily lifestyle, I think it's something that is just going to be as acceptable as anything that you do every day. And like what Kerstin has said, NEAT, which is basically your resting metabolism, the amount of energy that you burn when you're resting. What we want is to make sure that we are able to burn as much, to balance out whatever they're eating, so you don't have a positive caloric kind of input, which may eventually lead to weight gain, increased BMI, and of course other associated issues with regard to that as well.
So very good tips that they've all shared, very good advice and lessons. I think to sum it all, just try to be active. There are little things that you can do. For example, take the stairs instead of the lift. And these little things can help you lead a more active lifestyle. I mean, for me, I hated exercising. I don't know how you guys are so active, but 3 years ago, I would not exercise even if you paid me to, but then I found yoga. I was convinced to give yoga a try. And 3 years from now, I love yoga. I do it 5 times a week, sometimes 6. And it's amazing. And I've met a community of girls from yoga, and that motivates me to exercise more. So I made friends with Shanti Pereira, who is also a 100 meters sprinter, not a hurdler, and she does yoga. So she mixes it up. That's her training. She does gym, she does yoga, she does running. And I've met other girls who are so passionate about it, and it makes me want to go for yoga more. So find friends to work out with you. I think that's a great idea as well, right? Get people to work out with you, make it a more enjoyable. They don't see it as work. See it as something that you enjoy. 10,000 steps a day. That's what we all advocate for, right? More
Actually,
steps.
it's no longer 10,000 steps.
It's 20.
Because, no. All you want is to make sure you break sedentary times as much as possible. There's no limit to the number of steps or activities that you need to do. But of course, you just want to break sedentary times as much as possible, keep moving, stay active, no matter what you're doing, where you are. And I think, even though you've heard of all these public campaigns telling you to exercise or to engage in physical activity of about 150 minutes within a week, 150 minutes may deter a lot of people, right, upon hearing that. So I think what's important is to start low, go slow, start small. All you need is maybe to just start off with blocks of 10 minutes for each session. Do something that you enjoy, and like what you have rightfully said, find communities that will help to motivate you to even lead a healthier lifestyle.
Yeah. And find an exercise that works for you. I think that's what we've learned from Edmund and Kerstin as well. So Edmund likes to go on walks. He does exercises that he enjoys. It helps motivate him to go for these exercises because he enjoys it. And Kerstin, I mean, okay, this is her job, she's a professional athlete, so she has to do what she has to do.
Actually, if I can just add on, like what the Dr. Fadzil have already said, that it's not just about going to the gym. So my mom, she hates to exercise. Coming from me, who is a national athlete, my mom hates to go exercise.
You drag her?
I drag her. She also don't want to go. So what she do now is after dinner, she'll go for like a 10-15 minutes walk, and then slowly just increase to 20 to 30 minutes. So all these little walks actually helps. Or even weekends, ask her go to walk on weekends, a bit sian for her. So she goes shopping. But actually, window shopping is actually walking as well.
Exactly.
Something that she enjoys. She don't feel that it's as tiring. But it actually helps. It's all these little movements can help. So she don't run at all. She don't go for any fitness class. But she do that weekly walks after dinner, and that helps.
Yeah, so exactly what Kerstin said. It doesn't have to be intense workout to be counted as exercise. Cater it to your lifestyle, to your needs, to your body. And also a quick shout out to Team Strong Silvers, a group of seniors, we're talking 60 to 80 years old, known for their impressive calisthenics exercises. They are proof that fitness and strength have no age limit, and that anyone can maintain an active lifestyle with consistent and informed habits. Okay, now we have talked about 2 topics. Let's move on to what I think is actually really important but often neglected: mental health. So who would like to go first? I don't want to pick one person now. Who would like to go first?
I volunteer.
Okay, we start with Edmund again. Wonderful.
There's a saying in Mandarin, this 水要流人要动. I used to have that mindset that I come to an age that I should retire. Just go slow and things like that. But having that said, retiring is not really a good word where you really pumping, just rest and do nothing. That will really, your mental health will be really affected. And I think, concluding what everyone said, I think it's customized moderation sort of activities. Don't let the word exercise fear you. I don't think we should use the word exercise rather than we just do something that I think our body needs. It can be in the form of doing chore at home, mopping floor. I broke a few broomsticks at home because I was doing my
Just
core.
aggressively
and Chenzi was so
sweeping.
impressed. Whoa, Dad, you broke your, the broomstick. So it's just like, it's a matter of fact that you do something that you don't classify as, sometimes it can be very boring. Like, I go to the gym and exercise because I need to do this. It kills your interest. I go for a run because I need to draw. So I just seek inspiration. And you go for a tour, you climb the mountain and things like that. You probably walk 2,000 steps already. My time, I think when I was 20, 30, I don't know what stress. I just I work 24 hours. I do overtime, overnights, like for 3-4 nights. There's no stress comes to our mind. I think it's the mental, how you digest the work, the pressure you're getting. I realize I'm no longer seeing the world anymore. I see the boundary in my garden. So I try to prune and trim my trees and manage my garden with the limited resources I have to make the best out of it. So I don't feel stressed that much anymore.
I think it is important for us to be aware of what are the signs and symptoms of a mental health issue, be it stress, anxiety, depression. I think it's good that now the younger generation, they are able to put a label to certain feelings and to verbalize it, because I think it's not just about bottling it and just trying to go through it and being so gung-ho and at the end of the day you feel, oh, finally I'm done. It's not that anymore. And I think we are a community. Maintaining social connectedness is very important. Interacting with people you trust, sharing your feelings is a very important way of how you want to channel your emotions. And I think it's always good to have someone to look at your problem from an outsider point of view, because sometimes when we are faced with challenges, we feel that we are stuck. We can't find where the outlet freedom is.
Okay.
But if you were to talk to another person, he or she may be able to point out certain alternatives or even point out suggestions of solutions for you to actually think of. Right. Okay. So I think it's important. And like what Edmund has said rightfully, I think there needs to be a very fine line between being aware, being able to label how you feel, and also to find what are the solutions on how you want to address these feelings. It's not just about telling people, oh, I feel stressed. The question next is, what are you going to do about it? Mm-hmm. And I think this is where now we are seeing a lot of resources, community resources out there, offering a lot of solutions in the event that any one of us, we are feeling any of these symptoms. We can just, pick up the phone, call and speak to a counselor, speak to an expert, or even see your healthcare professional and to seek help.
So I think out of all of us, the stress would be the highest on Kerstin at certain times of the year, when the entire country is leaning on you to bring back an award, a gold. How do you manage your stress level?
I mean, of course, the pressure is extremely high when we put in so much hours, so many years for that just couple of seconds of race, and maybe that day just one mess up and everything goes to waste. So that kind of pressure entering the race is extremely high. But over the years, I've learned that I can only control what's within my control, and everything else is not within my control. If I think about it, it's just gonna overstress me up. And what's in my control will be thinking about how I'm gonna take off from my starting line, how am I gonna run through the hurdles, jump over the hurdles, and cross to the finishing line. Trust in myself that I've already put in the work, and I just gotta execute what I've already trained for. But there are so many other stresses outside of sports, even like managing my own schedule with training, with my work schedules, even the kind of pressure when I'm always coming into work late because I go for my training first, the kind of pressure I get, how I'm going to complete my work on time and deliver all my deliverables. But I think what is very important is to notice when you need help. When you think that it's something you cannot manage on your own anymore and you should seek help. For example, go to therapy, go for psychologists. So I actually personally go for therapy like once a month or once in 2 months if things are better. Yeah. When it's really peak, I go for it every week. And I think coming from the younger generation, we are quite open. Yeah, I go for therapy, that kind of thing. I think it's actually very helpful. They give me a different kind of perspective and how I can navigate certain emotions that I already have. There's a period of time, actually, just a couple of months ago, I was struggling very badly. And I realized that actually, as long as I reach out, there are actually people who are willing to help.
Okay, so I guess the difference between now and 60 years ago is that there's a lot of awareness about on mental health, and a lot of us, there used to be a social stigma around therapy and mental health, and now I think that's sort of removed. A lot of people are happy to tell everyone else that, you know, I go for therapy, and it's a good thing. You know, what I've heard about therapy is that it's kind of like going to the dentist. Even if you think you don't need it, even if you think that you're doing fine, it's also good to just check in once every 6 months, you know, twice a year, to just see how you're doing. Like what Kerstin said, you know, off the camera, it's good to just sort of find that kind of validation that you are managing things well, that things are going, you know, according to how it should, you know, feelings, mentally, emotionally, and I guess spiritually, you know, everything else basically. Okay, that wraps up our entire hangout session, and I'm going to try summarize everything that we talked about in the last half an hour. I'll do my best, okay? Number 1, eat mindfully. Correct? Balance indulgence with nourishment. Yes. Number 2, live actively. This is how you try to integrate movement into your daily life. It can be taking the stairs. It can be how Edmund mops the floor with such aggression that he breaks a broom. Or maybe try not to break a broom this time. And number 3, feel mentally strong. You have to prioritize mindfulness and stress management. Correct? That's a good summary. All right. And now, guys, remember that better health doesn't happen overnight. It's about small, consistent steps that build up over time. And you can take a moment to explore resources like Bloomr.SG that can give you personalized health plans and even small rewards like health points. All right. Thank you so much for being here today, Kerstin, Edmund, and Dr. Fadzil. It was so nice talking to you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this session. Thank you very much, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye!